Hello everyone, welcome back to a new Flesh and Blood video. Today we're going to be making a tier list for the heroes post-Worlds meta, and really aiming it at performing at the Armory level. So I understand that a lot of people make tier lists and they're like, oh, who should you play for Worlds, who should you play for this ProQuest season, that sort of thing. And I appreciate those, I love to watch those, and I'm sure lots of you guys do too. But there's also heroes on there that are very difficult to play and may not be the most useful in your armories. So today I'm going to be looking at a tier list post-Worlds meta that does include all those thoughts, but also really pinpoints the tier list for a casual player's perspective, and which hero they should play if they want to win their armories, and maybe go a step further and win their RTNs. Let's get straight into it. Alright, so here we got the tier list. We've got the LL heroes down there. Let's just get straight into it. We're just going to do them in order. And I'll probably change it around a bit as I go. Let's just get comfortable and let's do this. So Bravo, he's an interesting hero. He's quite consistent. And I haven't played him much. So to prepare myself for this, I played 5 games with all of these guys. It was on Talishar. So maybe not the most useful, but it's playing against heroes that you, the players that you might see at your armories. So Bravo is definitely an interesting one. He's quite consistent with what he does. He can play Count Your Blessings, which is quite strong, and he does fatigue well. However, I think there are better options. People are very down on Bravo. I don't know if that's entirely correct, but I think he does fall short to the Wizards, even though they're not so good. And I would say he doesn't have the worst matchup into like an Enigma, because, however, her lack of Phantasm does make it harder. And I must say, I'm kind of comparing them against Enigma. So actually, maybe let's change it up. We'll actually do the S tier first, so we know what we're like, because we want to see what they're playing against. So even at an Armory level, I still think Enigma's the best character in the game. Purely because, and this is one thing that you have to keep in mind when you're talking about at Armory, like lower level play, not Worlds and Pro Tours, but like at your casual and semi-competitive events, you got to think, are they actually easy enough to play that you could win with them? Because if they're incredibly difficult to pilot, you can't expect someone that plays once or twice a week to be able to pilot them to win. So even if, say, Kano was still the best in the meta, I wouldn't put him at S tier, because Kano's so hard to play. So we've got Enigma in S tier, definitely, and in terms of Armory, 100% Aurora has to be S tier. She's got medium-high skill ceiling. Like, you can definitely do some complicated things with her, but you don't have to. You could just use her consistency and her damage to output enough to win games. And she has to be S tier in talking about Armory level. And I'm pretty happy with just leaving those two as the only 2 S tier. They are quite strong. Actually, no, there's one more character. Ira has to go S tier, I think. She just does the thing every turn, like Kodachi for 1, CNC for 7. That's always going to be good. So I do think Ira just has to go straight to S tier in terms of Armory level, because yeah, she's she's so consistent. She's not that difficult to play, and yeah, she just wins. Very strong at Armory level, without a doubt. And I think I'm happy with having those 3 at S tier. Moving to A tier. My first A tier that I'm going to put at the top of A tier is going to be Nu. And there's a few reasons for this. I think there are better characters than Nu. I do. But I think Nu requires so much skill from your opponent to play against. Because you have, like, there's the players that watch pitch stack, they know what they're pitching, they know what cards they're up against, and they can make educated guesses on what's in Nu's hand. But not at the Armory level. It just doesn't, even if the player can do that, they're probably not going to, because it's just the weekly Tuesday night just playing Flesh and Blood. They're not taking it too seriously, and therefore Nu, I think, is one of the strongest decks to play at an Armory level without being one of the S tier. She struggles into Enigma, which is, I think, why she can't be up here with them. But she does well into Aurora. She can beat Ira. I think it's a very 50-50 with the games I've played, because Nu's my main character, my main hero. So I've played a lot of this Ira matchup, and it's very 50-50. Count Your Blessings. If you see all your Count Your Blessings, could be strong. I play Count Your Blessings Nu. Redline Nu can deal with Enigma more efficiently, but Count Your Blessings, I think, is the better way to play Nu right now. It's also the cheaper way, which is important for armories. It's just like $1,000 cheaper because you're not running the weakest links and such. So I think she's top of A tier for me. Next it's probably Viscerite, and this is, I think he can be harder to play, but his sheer power just puts him above the rest in my opinion. He's he can just do such strong things. Is it the Duskblade build? I can't remember what the correct name of the weapon is. I think it's Duskblade, something like that. It's just really strong. He does powerful things, and so he's in A tier. I could see an argument for him being in S tier, but I'm trying to keep the S tier small, and he has a good matchup into the S tiers. I think he can. I don't know how his race matchup is into Aurora, because I actually haven't played any of Viscera Aurora, but I know he can beat Ira, and I know he can beat Enigma. Yeah, I just don't know how the Aurora matchup is. I don't know if he wins that race. I assume you race it, but yeah. Next in A tier is going to be Azalea. This is what my testing partner used to play. So I've played a lot of the Azalea. I've played a lot of Azalea and played a lot of the Azalea matchup. Azalea is really strong. She has the, obviously, one of the best high roll capabilities in the game of just dominate. Red and Ledger, Codex into Red and Ledger, some more Red and Ledger. Very strong, very strong. Azalea, in terms of if this wasn't based on Armory, Azalea would probably be like, I could see Azalea in S tier, maybe around here. But she didn't perform so well at Worlds, and we are looking at a post-Worlds meta, where this was the first deck, this was the second deck. Don't know where Ara fits in yet. This was top 8, this was top 8. This was the only one here that wasn't top 8. So, yeah, that's where I doubt it there, because I'm trying to include what I learned from watching every single second of Worlds, you know? And Azalea wasn't there. It wasn't there in their top 8, so... Less confident on Azalea, in my opinion, being like up here, but she's not too difficult to play, but she does have some complex lines where a new player can mess up and maybe lose the game, and she does struggle into Nu. Like, Nu can just get her with all her Arsenal disruption and hand disruption. She's basically never going to get to play her 5-card hands, which is what she wants to do. Who else is probably in A tier? I might do some jumping around. But, yeah, I think I've just got a few heroes that I know that can just chuck in D tier. So, Olympia. She's probably the best way to play Hatchet Olympia. I've actually, if you want to, you can go back and watch one of my very first videos on this channel, which is me playing Olympia as, I played Fatigue Olympia in top forward and RTN. So, and that was in Sydney against some of the best players in the world. We had Nick Butcher and Hayden Dale there, arguably two of the greatest Flesh and Blood players in the world. Well, definitely Nick Butcher without a doubt. And I was able to top 4 of that event while playing as Nick Butcher. I did lose to him as he was on Droma and I was playing a Fatigue deck, which doesn't really work. But I do think he's D tier right now. Olympia just doesn't really do anything. He's consistent with the hatchets, but it doesn't actually do enough damage, or he can't race, he can't really fatigue well enough against like these really fast decks. So I'm going to put him in D tier for now. I think a good player maybe could get him C or B tier, but this is Armory. And yeah, I don't think Olympia's even winning too many Armories, so. Okay, next in the D tier is going to be Kano. So, Kano lover's going to hate me. I'm a Kano lover, guys. I played Kano. He's the hero I've played the most out of every hero. I'm a Kano lover, and I'm putting him in D tier. So if that shows anything to you of like his place right now as an Armory deck, it's not there. If you're a Kano lover, like you're a big Kano player, right? You could 100% see him in A tier. No, probably not S tier, but you could definitely see him in A tier if you're a big Kano player. But I do have to put him over Olympia. But in terms of Armory level, someone new, if they want to pick up this hero, they shouldn't. If you want to pick up Kano right now, don't pick up Kano right now. He's at a position where without Tome of Aetherwind, he can't do the Psycho Flip strategy, popularized by We Make Best. That he can't do the Psycho Flip strategy because he doesn't have tomes. So he has to play like a pitch stack, hyper, like churn through his deck, pitch stack, open the floodgates. Maybe not entirely pitch stack, but you have to be so good at Kano. A single mistake will lose you the game, and therefore I'm putting him in D tier. Those really good Kano players like Martian Bay could win every single Armory if they needed to, if they wanted to. But in terms of every player playing at the moment, like the majority shouldn't pick up Kano, and I'm sorry because I love Kano, and it hurts me to say this, but yeah, they shouldn't. Next one is Fi. He doesn't have Art of War. He's just the worst deck in the format. Who cares if he's easy to play? You can't... Yeah, he is very easy to play, which is, I guess, is the argument for him in an Armory, but he's still so terrible. He just doesn't have the same power turns. I do have a build that if you are a diehard fan of Fi, comment down below. I'll send you my build, because this is, I think, in my opinion, also, if you guys want me to, I'll get this, so this video gets 20 likes, I will make a revised Fi deck tech, because if you guys want to go back and look at my most popular video, actually, is when I took Fi and won a $500 tournament with him, and then he was strong, he had Art of Wars, but using a similar build, I've made so he can still win. So if you guys really love Fi and you want to still play him, just let me know down below and I'll send you the deck list, because there's still a combo Fi that you can use. It's just it's not as good as with the double Art of War. And on that same note, Katsu will also go D tier. He'll go above Fi. There's a couple of reasons for this. This comes in, he's hard to play as well, and without Art of War, he's lost his power turns. And without, what's the card? It got banned when Zen came out. Why can't I remember? It's like one of his best cards, searches him stuff. I also think that because that's been limited, he's just bad. He's just lost too many of his good cards, so he doesn't do so many strong things anymore. And he's really hard to play. So that's I could definitely see him as a hero in C tier, just generally, but when we're talking about these like lower levels, he's hard enough to play that I'm going to put him in D tier. And Arachne as well. I like Arachne more than Katsu. Arachne is an interesting one. He's just the worst assassin. His hero ability doesn't do anything. So he's just an assassin. He's a generic assassin with a hero ability that puts a card to the deck. Some grindy, long matchups. Maybe that's relevant. Dorinthia new, maybe. Dorinthia new. And maybe Olympia. That could be useful over time. On the surface, it's just a useless hero ability. And he doesn't do strong enough things. He's got a couple good specializations that you're never going to get to use properly because he's quite difficult to play as well. Arachne Masters might be able to push him to the top of D tier. I don't even know if he can get C tier. And that's just how I feel. Teklo Vossen, this guy. He's an interesting D tier hero. I think he's probably the last D tier hero. And no, he's not the last D tier hero. Betsy and Teklo Vossen. Betsy doesn't do anything strong. Her specialization isn't very good. And she can get outraced and out-fatigued. So I put Betsy, maybe not out-fatigued, it depends on how they play. Betsy's just not so good. I'm just going to put her there. And Teklo Vossen, I don't know too much about Teklo Vossen, his current builds. I just know that he's really difficult to pilot if you want to play him good. And you're going to struggle to get like the Mechra Potent on if you don't know how to pilot him. So he can find himself a nice spot there. So I think I like it like this. Yeah, I think that's a good D tier. So these are the ones that if you're new or if you don't know how to play them, just don't pick up these guys if you're trying to win at the Armory level. Unless you're going to put like, this D tier is for the heroes that you shouldn't pick up unless you're going to put loads of time into them. Because I think in Flesh and Blood, every single hero can win except this guy. Get this guy out of here. Just let him LL. At this point, he's just LL'd. Okay, guys. But you can win an Armory with all of these heroes, but you need to know how to play them, especially like Kano and Arachne. They're really hard, and you need to know how to play them. Just fuck. This guy can just go. he can just stay away. But yeah, it sucks because Fi was my very first hero. Let's move on. And they also the struggles into Enigma. I don't know how Katsu is into Enigma. This is okay. Definitely, I think this will struggle into Enigma. C tier. This is where I'm just going to put, like, Bravo. Bravo can find C tier. He's, like, a great mid-hero. He's just okay. He does his things consistently. They're just not good enough. Basically, so he was great in the heavy hitters meta. Same with, Olympia was better in the heavy hitters meta. I'd put Olympia C in heavy hitters meta. This was ages ago, though, you know? When the decks were all about just good numbers. Kasai, Victor, Dorinthia, all of these heroes that just cared about good numbers. And yeah, the game cares more about synergy and combos and doing powerful things now than just good numbers. And good numbers isn't good enough to win you games. And he's pretty face up. It's not too difficult to navigate his gameplay, like play against him. So therefore he can go in C tier. Who else is C tier hero? I don't think Dorinthia is. I think Dash is. Dash is probably a C tier hero. And that's purely because, yeah, I think purely Dash is there because she doesn't do too many strong things, and she can get fatigued too easily without doing the stupid things that Dash IO can do. She doesn't have the ability to do what Dash IO could do, and therefore she just boosts, plays a mid-range gamepad. I think the only reasonable way to play her is Control Dash, because mid-range dash is just not doing anything. You're just boosting, you're getting fatigued so easily. It's no good. In my opinion, I wouldn't play mid-range dash. Fatigue dash I could see working, but still only at a C tier level. Because she can get just blasted by this one, these three. She can get blasted before she gets everything set up. Whereas against Enigma, maybe, definitely against Nu, I think you could be pretty good against Nu. As long as she doesn't disrupt you too much. I have realized as I'm going, I've missed some more D tier heroes, but I think I'm gonna put Acilio in the D tier, bottom of D tier. It's not because he's a bad hero. I love this guy. He's so fun to play, but he's so difficult to play. And one misclick, one wrong card discarded, one single mistake, you lose the game. And that's why he has to be D tier for Armory. One mistake is over. You're done. Yeah, you just absolutely can't. Nope. Nope. I recommend if you're going to pick him up, you have to put so much time into him. There's not a chance you can pick him up and just play him in your Armory. He's so difficult, and even then he just still doesn't do strong things. He doesn't do strong enough things. And so he's a pretty bad hero, and definitely bad to pick up at Armory level. I would steer away from him entirely. Okay, I think that's fine. I was thinking about putting Bolton D tier, especially because he's quite difficult to play. But I think Bolton's C tier, and this is because I think he's difficult to play against as well. And that's where I make my argument for Bolton. I quite like Bolton. I think he's quite a cool hero. He does a lot of strong things, and the buffs on his cards when they're defending by attack actions, I think newer players, Armory level players, don't really know how to play against Bolton, and you could just blast your way to a 4-0 finish at your Armory with Bolton. I really do think so. And although he's not doing such strong things as Aurora, if your Aurora player doesn't know how to play against Bolton, hey, Bolton could work at an Armory. He's still not as good, and that's why he finds him C tier. But like, if you want to pick up Bolton, I recommend it. And in fact, I think Bolton's so cool, I'll put him above Dash. But yeah, moving on, Leviah. Leviah can go there. Leviah can go below Dash. And this is not because Leviah is bad. I think Leviah is great. I think it's very strong with the what's it called? Shadowbring or something. Banishes all your cards, you can use them. Very strong, so hard to play. Incredibly hard to play. Second hardest deck in the format, in my opinion, after Acilio. So, yeah, Leviah is just too difficult to play. And therefore, shouldn't, like, if you don't know if you have never played Leviah, and you just want to play once a week at your Armory, maybe twice a week, don't play Leviah. I really don't recommend it, just because she's so difficult to play. The thing that's got going for her is she's really strong still, and people don't know how to play against her either. They just find themselves, okay, we'll take the 6. Oh, wait, there's another 6. Oh, there's more. Oh, right, okay, so you just have go again, you just keep blasting me. And yeah, that's where that is. She can be hard to play against, but she's so hard to play. I'm pretty happy with those characters. Oh, I think Verdance also has to be C tier, because Verdance is a wizard. She's difficult to play, and she's just not very good. That's the main thing holding her back, is she's just not so strong. And that's going to keep her down there, and maybe Zen as well, just because he doesn't have Art of War. He's been nerfed. He won the world's cooling, so it's not like he's bad. But I think he's hard now that he's lost a lot of the just main power that he had. I think he's harder to pilot without that power, so I don't think he's able. He's quite difficult to pilot to that top win. I don't know where I put Verdance though. I haven't played Verdance whatsoever. I played one game against Verdance, and then I played the 5 games with Verdance. But I don't know. I lost all 5 of them. Maybe I don't know how to play them. Oh, I've just closed the tab. Okay, I am back. I had to go through a lot of things to get back to this point. The whole website just stopped working. I had to go on a different browser. I had to use, yeah. Either way, it's back. Hopefully I can figure out how to edit that out. And we are C tier. We were talking about Verdance. Have I missed any heroes that I already put in? I don't think so. I think we're all good. I had put Zen in. Zen was C tier. Okay. So we're talking about Verdance. I can't remember exactly what I said. It was like 20 minutes ago now. So, okay. So we'll move on to B tier. I think I'm pretty happy with those heroes there. Yeah, I'm going to start B tier off with, I think maybe Kasai has to go C tier. Just because she's lost her like big numbers thing, which is drawable cards, and so she's less consistent, doesn't have the power turns. She's consistently doing like poor things. She's consistently doing consistently okay things. She's consistent, but not consistent in a good way. And so we'll leave her probably at the bottom of C tier, maybe. Yeah, I think I would rather play Dash.io at an Armory level than Kasai. And then we'll move on to B tier. And I think B tier starts off great with probably the only warrior you should play. The only one I'd recommend is Dorinthia. Hatch's Dorinthia, super consistent. And this is going to be a big selling point to most of the people looking to get into Armory and play Dorinthia. Hatchet Dorinthia is incredibly cheap compared to the other decks right now. And you could just take her straight to, like, just to performing at RTNs, Pro Quests, and then go even further, Nationals. You can see her at a PTI. Like, yeah, I think Dorinthia is super consistent. She does the strong things. She's not too difficult to play. She has lots of different packages that she can play, where she can play aggressive, she can play defensive. She does consistent things. She does get choked by Enigma. I think Enigma does quite well. I think Iris just does the thing better. And out of these two, I'd rather play Ira in terms of consistency, doing the strong thing. But I definitely think Dorinthia is a playable character. And you should definitely look at her, especially because of her inexpensive price point. And I already almost pushed her into A. She just isn't the power level to be A, I don't think. In terms of playability for Armor level, S tier. It's an inexpensive deck. It does consistent things. It's not too difficult to play against. You ask your opponent a lot of questions. S tier. But because of her power level, I can't chuck her in S tier. I just can't. Teklavos one was D tier. I missed that. I'll chuck him here. Azuri, I'm so hard for hard on Azuri, and that's because she's quite good in an Armory level. She's quite difficult to play against. She's got a plethora of disruption that she can utilize, and she just sucks into Enigma, man. You just can't win that matchup. It's so difficult. So it's a hard decision for me, but I think she's got to go B tier. I played Azuri for a while. I've been playing Azuri for a while, but it's just not going to happen for me, I don't think. Yeah, she's got to be B tier. She just can't deal with Enigma. She asks the opponent a lot of questions, but it's not at the same. I just can't put her in A tier because she's just not at the same power level as these A tier heroes. Here's Vincent. I'm going to leave him for later. I don't want to do Vincent right now. I want to do Prism, who's going to go in B tier. I think Prism is still strong. I still think Prism is good. She came third at the calling before Worlds. I don't think she did so well at Worlds. I don't really see Prism around. But I like Prism, and I think Prism's good. And I think people are sleeping on Prism still, and a great pilot can take her to do a lot of damage. But you're at Armory level, you're not a great pilot. Not yet. Soon to be a great Prism pilot, and therefore she should be B. Especially, one thing I feel like people are forgetting is the ninjas were her worst matchup. And look at where the ninjas are now. Look at Yuffie. Arguably her worst matchup. Look at him. He's all the way down there. No one should touch this hero. I hate that guy now. But yeah, I think Prism's a comfortable B, bottom of B tier. Bottom B, like top of C. It's a hard decision for me. I'll put her in B tier because that C tier is just looking a little bit confusing. I feel like a lot of people are going to disagree with this tier list, but that's okay. Riptide, Riptide later, we'll do Max now. Max can go B tier. Hey, after I watched the 3 floating video where Jake Bertrand boosted away all 3 of his Nitro Mechanoids, I don't trust this character anymore. I don't care how little that's going to happen. You can't just boost away all 3 of Nitro Mechanoids and still argue for this character. I think he's strong. I think Supercell is so good. Supercell is so good, and it just makes them stick around forever. The hype drivers, but I don't like Max. And I don't know if High Octane's going to stick around. And if High Octane goes, he just goes, boom. That's Briar. Where's Max? Where did I just put Max? I've lost Max. Yeah, okay, Max Hype Nitro is gone. So, it's a hard decision. He's probably not LL yet. Hey, yeah, I think I put him at bottom of B tier. I think he's, no, he has to be above Prism. I think, has to be above Prism. I don't put him above Azuri, because Azuri asks too many questions at an Armory level. He's good. I just, boosting away all 3 Densho Mechanoids just, like, scarred me for some reason. Moving on, Dash. People are going to be confused by this. I'm dragging all these heroes all over the place. Dash can go straight up to A tier. I've lost Dash. There you are. A tier. S tier hero. I don't really have too many doubts about that. I think S tier hero, way too hard to pilot for an Armory level to say S tier. You could almost argue top of B tier, because she's so hard to pilot. So hard to pilot. One of the top 5 hardest decks at the moment. It's just too difficult to play it. To do the top performances at an Armory level. It's almost top of B, but I've also played her, and I'm not good at piloting her, and I still can win. So that's why she's A tier. Bottom of A tier, because she's so difficult. KO, this guy is still strong. I don't have too many. I don't think he's S tier, but he's not that difficult to play. He's the one of the 2, Victor as well, the 2 decks from the heavy hitters that numbers are still like, wow, this is pretty good. So his numbers key to keep him here. I'll put him above Dasho. I'll put him. Dasho just did so well at Worlds. It's so hard, because this is a post-Worlds tier list, and we have to keep in mind that... Yeah, okay, I'll leave him by the bottom of A tier. Victor is also going in the bottom of A tier, because Victor is... He's super easy to play, I think. He's not that difficult. Compared to other heroes. He's not that difficult to play, and he's so hard to play against. If you don't know how to navigate his blocks, how to play against him, he's so difficult to play against. Especially with a plethora of these guys at the top that just lose clashes to him. How far can we go before we see someone that can win clashes against? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so 8. Really, is it even 8? Might just keep going down until you see the next Guardian who's in C tier. So he's definitely the premier Guardian. Definitely still play him. I think he's great. Almost S tier for this. I think he goes all the way. He goes all the way up here. I think he's so hard to play against. If you don't know how to navigate against him, you win, and therefore he can win armories quite efficiently. Florian, he does strong things. I put him at the top of B tier. I haven't played enough against Florian. I think he does... The uninteractable disruption is so good and so hard to play against. But I think he's also quite difficult to play. And you have to know your game plan into heroes to play him. You have to know what your plan is. Are you going to OTK? She does have. Are you going to play a value-based game plan? Yeah, you have to know what your game plan is, and therefore he's B. Bottom of B tier is going to be Rhinar. Because Rhinar, his Intimidate is good. And I think people... But at the end of the day, wow, I've just done a bunch of damage. But he's still got all his cards because you've intimidated them away. And then they swing back. But against like stuff like Nu that can't always use all her cards. And yeah, I just think he's at B tier. I don't think he can be C tier. Because I think Rhinar still does strong things. Riptide. I don't want to do this character. I have no idea where to put Vincent. Someone else tier Vincent for me. I'm going to put him against how I've played against him. Because I lost all my games with him because I don't know how to play him. So I'm going to put him at the top of... bottom of A tier because he's so hard to play against. He just keeps doing damage, but he kills himself. So you've got to decide. Do super powerful things that your opponent doesn't know how to play against. And then you also just kill yourself. So... Because of killing himself, he can't be any higher than this. And you have to know how to manage not dying to yourself. And then Riptide. Riptide's bottom of A tier. Maybe top of B. I don't think he's that even hard to pilot. And he does strong things now. He's just... Because he's been so bad. And then every single time, he just gets more and more support. But I'm going to have to put him B tier because he's actually quite difficult to know your game plans. Are you fatiguing? Which is a thing he does. Are you redlining? Like, what is your game plan into this hero? How do you find your win condition? And identifying that win condition is harder than it looks. that's the tier list, guys. So I just want to say again, before you comment down below and say this is a terrible tier list, it's horrid, you stupid, which you can do, of course, that's fine. But this is specifically, so this is keeping two things in mind. Post Worlds, so how did they do at Worlds, and like how is that affecting them, and then also how viable are they at Armory? And there's three main points. So the least point is price, because I've talked about price before in Flesh and Blood, and I think it's a big important factor, but I'm not so much thinking about it in this tier list. I'm thinking about hero power level, and also how difficult are they to play against, and how difficult are they to play. Acilio, he's so difficult to play that he's the bottom of D tier, even though he's probably a C tier hero, bottom of D tier because he's so difficult to play. Whereas Fi, he's just a bad hero. And then these guys, Enigma's just too strong to not put at the top of S tier. Aurora's super easy to play. People might give me hate for that. I think she's easy to play. And same with Ira. And then these ones are hard to play against. New, Victor, hard to play against. Dash, hard to play against. Just all around consistent. Definitely, I think he's hard to play against. So that's how I've based the tier list. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out my other videos, as I'm going to keep posting more and more content. And yeah, let me know down below what you actually want to see. I'd love some video ideas. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.